Welcome to Voices of Leadership. I'm Chris Atwell, and in each episode, I sit down with the leaders shaping the future of the manufacturer's rep industry. Real stories, real challenges, real growth. This is where leadership comes to life. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to learn more about your leadership journey and what you've learned and how you've grown and what mindsets you've adopted and what's really shaped you as a leader. So appreciate you because you've been in the business a long time.
Yeah,
right?
25 years.
25 years, multi-generational, family-run business,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
And it's not just you, you've got siblings in the business as well.
I do.
And now you're at the, at the leadership level, running the show.
Yep.
And along the way, are you able to pinpoint a defining moment that really shaped who you are today? And what did that look like?
Yeah, I'd say for me specifically, had to be the succession planning process.
Okay.
Because you find yourself going through a lot of those, there was a management company that helped us with it, getting it done the right way. So you actually take yourself through a lot of those behavioral, conversations, just to identify what type of personality you are. So you really find yourself thinking about yourself one way, and then through a set of questions and stuff like that, your brain actually works this way, and this is how you would be best for this agency. In the succession of this agency, in the future of this agency, was being told to you by a set of questions and a management company, and it determined that you were a certain way. So that certainly helped me understand kind of how my leadership philosophies are based on that conversation there. And with that company, that was probably about 10 years ago, and it was a multiple year process. So understanding my leadership style was a big part of that. So that was certainly one thing growing up within the company that really kind of prepared me for where I am today. Certainly.
Yeah. Wow. So you grow up in the company, you've got this perspective and a way that you identify how you're leading, and then you enter a third-party consulting agency that helps you see things from a different lens. Yeah. And rather than resist, it sounds like you were like, wow, this is, So you kind of embraced it. Yeah.
I embraced it. There's certainly days where you remember the profile that you fit, and maybe subconsciously find yourself fighting against it. Yeah. Whenever you finally maybe see that there's something that's got you pinpointed, subconsciously, you may try to act differently now, knowing that's in the back of your head, and it was a well-structured set of questions that kind of, had you picked out. So, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, identity is a powerful thing, right? It's tied to your ego. Yeah. And it's fighting for its survival, right? Absolutely. It's helped you get to where you are today. It was a part of you, and now you've got this level of awareness of it. Sure. And it's still saying, hey, don't forget about me, right? Absolutely. So with that awareness, you're able to respect it and honor it and show up the way that you need to show up.
Absolutely, yeah. And ego is a great thing, because when your siblings are involved and it's comparing you to your brothers that you've always been competitive with. Right. There was a lot of that too that you had to manage. I
can't imagine. I mean, running a business and there's, a group of siblings and everybody is competitive, like you said. That's got to be, that takes a lot of mutual respect and discipline.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah. And after it happened, it was one of those things where there was a post meeting, to make sure everyone was good to go, understood their role. Yeah. And it was that was a significant part of the process going forward for the next few years of making sure that we were all good with it. And honestly, now you look back, it was the perfect way to do things, because obviously the hardest part with working with family is figuring out your role, making sure it's understood. You don't stay in your lane, but your strengths and weaknesses are identified, and that's typically where we've all led to is, one's more in the management role, I'm more on the sales and marketing side, and my other brother's more on the operational side of things. So, really did a good job of kind of identifying where the future of our role is going to be. So it helped.
Yeah, it's really cool. And because it was a family-run business,
Yeah.
it sounds to me like you've managed to separate the business being treated as a family and being treated as more of a, for the lack of a better analogy, a competitive sports team, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
you're not going to fire your brother, your cousin, your mother, but if you're able to put that line and that boundary,
Absolutely.
it's gonna create clarity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Competitive sports was at our core.
Yeah.
And yes, it was transparency was key, is key. And we are siblings that brothers that always communicate, and it's an open forum. And that is the best way to make sure that competitive those competitive issues are addressed.
Yeah.
Is with constant communication, and we do stay on top of that. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure it doesn't come without challenges, right?
Absolutely.
So that leads to my next question, which is around really tough moments.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm wondering if there is a really tough moment that you can recall that has been a big part of shaping who you are as a leader today.
Yeah.
And what did you do to overcome that?
Tough moment. For me, man, it's obviously always been the people management probably side of things. And as our company was evolving and changing, people were retiring, and we were having to, obviously go back out there and, find their replacement. And obviously people knew our company as a certain way for so long with some of these key people. So from a management side of things, setting up a good process for us to properly go out and retain more talent was difficult, just in terms of understanding what that process should be, where it should be, how it should be done, and how the talent should be retained. And that was not something I was traditionally good at. Sales and marketing is more my background. So, being able to understand all facets and evolve and be a part of the process of making sure the future of our company and it's scaled out properly was one thing that I looked at, or maybe saw it as a potential problem. But we all put our heads together, use various methods of getting more folks in that were good, that fit our culture, and I think so far it's been very successful. So that was one primary thing that I would rather just go out there and work with my sales team and sell products, market our products, communicate with the manufacturers, but obviously making sure our people are in a good place is key to having a good running company.
Yeah, and that's a powerful example, because I think a lot of business owners can relate to that, especially in this industry where it's like, I'm a sales guy. I'm really good at what I do.
Absolutely.
I want to be out there and supporting that part of the business.
Yes.
But there's challenges around hiring, retaining, and maintaining a standard of the type of people that you want to have to support the vision of the business. So creating a process really took you out of your comfort zone, but you've embraced that as well.
It did. Making sure you give them that feedback. So open communication was easier with family.
Yeah.
Having that same type of open communication with key people.
Yeah.
And adapting to that. Absolutely. And making sure that they knew expectations, knew exactly what we were seeing them as it pertained to the future of the company. Absolutely. It was an area that I knew I needed to improve on. Yep.
So you've come a long way. You've been with the business 25 years.
Yeah.
Now, you need to show up a certain way every day, not just for you, but at home too, when you get home, right? With the family and all that stuff.
Yep.
So what habits and routines do you really treat as sacred so that you can show up every day?
Yeah. I mean, it's, it's typically, maybe sometimes I'm starting my day a little bit later just to, spend some time in the morning with the kids and, getting them on the bus, and certainly, obviously on the back end of that thing, maybe staying a little bit later, obviously, being more involved in some of the stuff that's not so tedious within work, but also spending more time with the in the sports, involved in sports with kids. After work. But those are some of the habits that I get into, is just kind of being more involved with the after work, recreation, the sports and stuff like that. And then obviously just spending the morning in the bullpen with customer service.
Yeah.
That's a common thing for me, is just taking checking the temperature of everybody always, and you learn a lot. Obviously, what's happening out there, what their issues are,
For sure.
and just enjoying the morning coffee with them, and just helping them with anything I can. I've been obviously involved in so many different facets of the company, so spending some time there with them, just making sure that they feel good about everything that's happening. So absolutely. Yep.
So some really important habits around supporting your family, your children's extracurricular activities, and then every day get the feedback from customer service, get the update, be visible for them,
absolutely,
support them,
absolutely,
and have that level of engagement.
Yep. You can find yourself closing the door, on the phone, buried in the office.
Easy to do, easy to hide.
Absolutely, it is. So making sure you come out and again, take that temperature, make sure everything's good, everyone's getting along, culture is where it needs to be. Absolutely. Yep.
If you had to look back at a younger version of yourself, all right, 15 years ago, really starting this leadership journey, what advice would you give yourself today?
That's a great question. It's it was really enjoy every part of the company that you're kind of thrusted into. We've done every single job within this company, and now that I'm more into the management side of things, I wish I enjoyed my time on the road more. So obviously knowing what I know now about the products, how to market it, maybe how to possibly sell it to the folks that are interested. I would have stretched my legs a little bit more. You kind of find yourself in more of like a, when you're first getting involved, more of like a checkbox mode of, going into the wholesalers and, seeing the folks you need to see. But, I definitely would have taken a different approach to my freedom on the road. And now as a manager of the company, it's, you have those days where you wish you were back out on the road with your team, grinding, knocking on doors. I enjoyed my time, and I feel like it was effective. But the evolution of the company and some of the changes we went through, it was necessary for me to find myself fixed to the office a little bit more.
That's great advice. It's that whole concept of you either have to do the experience, or you can look at it from the perspective of you get to do the experience.
Absolutely.
And what you're saying is, embrace that. You get to do this. So enjoy it while it lasts.
The personalities out there, that you maybe didn't appreciate at the time because you were just really worried about making sure you were going into the right accounts. Versus actually getting to know them, getting more involved, selling more products to the same person. So you can kind of get, caught up in that kind of, that same rigmarole that you do, so.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Lots changing in the industry. Your business is evolving. What are you most excited about that's coming for you?
For me, is the future of the advancement of the technology. Certainly. I think that everyone could probably lean on that and say, what is AI going to do to us all? And it's certainly an industry that we're in on the plumbing and heating side. What is it going to do to the plumbing heating industry? To data, how are we going to implement the new technology? How is it going to make us more efficient? So certainly, I find that extremely exciting. Find myself going down the rabbit hole of what's coming. What are some of the top people in the AI movement saying? And obviously implementing it in a good strategic manner within our own company, however we can, to complement what we do today, ultimately to improve the customer experience, and do what we need to do to, collect data. So I certainly find that to be really exciting, especially how rapidly evolving and changing that is, you know?
Absolutely, I agree.
Mhm.
Technology is never ending and super exciting. What does that mean for you when you think about your leadership?
Mhm.
What does that next level Patrick look like in order to support what's going to happen in the future?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's just listening to all the feedback, you know, people that are using it. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of products that are being presented to you, you know, that they're going to help your company take that next step. So, it's certainly going to be to do my research, you know, make sure that we reach out to folks that might have more experience in that field to kind of help us articulate the opportunity. And definitely weigh all of our options as it pertains to that growth and that change.
Yeah.
So absolutely, that's kind of where I see it happening, and obviously leaning on my brothers to kind of see what they think, because there's obviously three of us that ultimately make the you know, decisions for the future of our company.
To that point about technology,
Yeah.
what do you think most reps are missing out on when it comes to technology and automation?
Yeah, certainly. Data management. I think that the ability to understand and articulate and cultivate the mass amounts of data that are out there
So
that help
much.
you run a better rep agency.
Yeah.
I think that's what we all need to figure out, and where we could benefit the most is understanding the numbers, which will paint a better picture for us. You know, there's obviously products that are out there right now that are promoting that they can do that for you. You know, but cleaning that data up, managing that data properly, and then using it properly to proactively you know, help manufacturers understand what you're doing, and where you're going and what the future holds. You know,
Yeah.
But I think that's the hardest part, just because every aspect of our industry, you know, they handle their data differently. You know, so we're going to lean on AI to hopefully help us understand it, gather it, and then again use it the right way.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Look, Patrick, this has been an amazing conversation, and I truly believe that this sort of conversation is what makes this industry really special.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing your journey and being visible.
Absolutely.
As I said, it's going to help other people really lead with confidence, grow, and you know, lead with purpose at the same time.
I agree.
Appreciate you, man.
No, thank you as always, and I appreciate your time as well. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.